Live, ¿qué tal amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. It is 7:35 p.m. It is the 15th of February. I hope everybody survived St. Valentine's Day yesterday. Everybody got what they deserved on that day, let's hope. And back into a normal day today, the 15th of February. Now we'll have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today. We'll have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently too. And then in the second half of the video, as you guys know, or the second half of the live stream, we'll go into the chat section that I have here to my right, and we'll see what's happening in that chat section this evening. First piece of news here, and it is about the full democracies in the world, and Spain remains among them. According to The Economist, Spain is one of the 24 full democracies in the world, mainly thanks to the quality of the electoral system, the level of pluralism, if I can get that word out, and the exercise of civil liberties, according to the 2023 Democracy Index, annually compiled and published by The Economist. The report by the British Weekly, which examines the democratic situation in 165 states, keeps Spain in the last position of the highest quality democracies, tied with France in score 8.07 or 8.07, and position, both are ranked 23rd, a status it regained last year after briefly losing it in 2021 when it dropped to the category of flawed democracy. Norway once again occupies the first position in a list almost always led by Scandinavian countries, with the novelty being Greece's return to the top category. The study highlights the increase in armed conflicts in 2023, a fact. In fact, the dossier is titled The Age of Conflict. So, good news there for Spain, back in among the 24 full democracies in the world, and 24 out of 165 according to The Economist there. So not many fully democratic countries in the world, and as we saw, Spain regaining its position in the top tier countries after having been classified as a flawed democracy back in 2021. A flawed democracy was Spain, according to The Economist, back in 2021. But back alongside France there, I think, was the country mentioned, and Greece making a return to the top tier countries in that full democracy, or the democracy list, according to the criteria of The Economist. Another piece of news here, and Spain's King Felipe VI is calling for respect for judges' decisions and is defending their independence. King Felipe VI, during a speech in Barcelona, has claimed the independence of justice as the essence of the rule of law. In his speech, he also defined equality before the law as one of the indispensable conditions in a democracy like Spain's. The independence of the judicial power as an institution is essential for the proper functioning of our democracy, as is the independence of each judge in the exercise of their jurisdictional function, he stated. Furthermore, just a few days before the amnesty law is voted on again in Congress, the King has called for respect for the resolutions of the judicial power and reminds that to judge and execute what has been judged is an exclusive function of this power. So King Felipe VI, Spain's king, making his voice heard there on the situation which is currently going on, where some political parties in this country, democratically elected politicians, are questioning the justice system. I'll put it that way. They're questioning the what's the word I'm trying to look for here? The independence of the justice system, saying that it's too closely aligned to some political parties and some political ideologies, and complaining that they don't get a fair go in the justice system here in Spain. Of course, these are people that tried to separate from Spain back in 2017, and they are being put through the justice system in mainland Spain, not in Catalonia, where they probably think they would get an easier run. I don't know. But, of course, complaining about judges in Madrid, basically, as being too pro certain political parties and maybe a little bit biased in their decisions, or at least that's what they're saying. But the King pointing out there that we need respect for judges And the essence of the rule of law is the independence of justice. And I probably would agree with the King's words there. Next piece of news here, Pedro Sanchez recently visited Torrevieja down there in Alicante, the desalination plant to be exact, and he has announced that in Torrevieja, the desalination plant will increase its production capacity by 50%. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has announced that the Torrevieja desalination plant will increase its production by 50% following the expansion approved by the government. He made this announcement during his visit to the plant on Wednesday, the largest in Europe, where he also detailed that it will include a photovoltaic park to make the plant even more sustainable, and that, on the other hand, it will allow the price of desalinated water to be reduced by 4 cents per cubic metre. He also defended that his cabinet gives the highest priority to policies against climate change and one of its most adverse effects, drought. Planning, solidarity and science, Sanchez advocated against denialism, because some people, of course, climate change deniers here in Spain. In politics, of course, a certain political party, not really believing the climate change science. So Mr. Sanchez there saying that his ministers, the highest priority given to policies against climate change and the way that it's manifesting itself in Spain through drought and increasing the desalination plant capacity by 50% in Torrevieja, and also getting some a photovoltaic park to get the energy from the sun to power that desalination plant down there. Last piece of news, and only 1 in 4 Spaniards apparently pay attention to the product's origin label. More and more families have reduced their spending on groceries. In fact, 63% have had to replace some foods with others of lower quality because they are cheaper. Although we didn't used to pay much attention to the origin of products when shopping, the trend is now changing. More and more people are looking for Spanish products on supermarket shelves. When you're in a hurry, you really don't notice that, to be honest. I was already paying attention before, and now I pay a little more attention, some consumers say. So only 1 in 4 Spaniards there paying attention to the product's origin. And of course, we've seen in recent times, I think somebody high up in the agricultural ministry here in Spain last week said that they want people to buy Spanish produce and not foreign produce, which is often competing against Spanish produce on supermarket shelves and fruit shop shelves and vegetable shelves as well. Products that come in from Morocco, products that come in from other European countries, products that come in from Central America, and products that come in from South America too. Mainly fruit, I've noticed. The tropical fruit, of course, if you want it, it's got to come in from a foreign country normally. So there we go. Now into the comments section I'm going to go now. First one here from Meat Money Milk. No tolls. The tolls are just another way of punishing the poor, says Meat Money Milk. Yeah, this is a topic that was mentioned yesterday here in the news, because the government or governments around Spain, local governments around Spain, have been given the green light to maybe, if they want, set up urban tolls or city tolls similar to what they have in London, for example. If you've ever driven to the centre of London, you'll know that you have to pay a toll. Here in Spain, that doesn't exist. Currently, we have these ZBE zones, as they're called here. LEZ zones, I think in English, low emissions zones. Cities with more than 50,000 people in Spain should have these low emission zones in place, but not all of them do. Not all of them do, because they're not politically popular. So a lot of cities around the country haven't implemented them yet, but now mayors of those cities given the choice of either putting in a ZBE or urban tolls. So we'll see what happens, whether any cities get on board with charging commuters to drive in the central parts of the city. And as pointed out here in this comment, punishing the poor, just another way, because as we know, poor people will be put on public transport, trains, buses, and the like, and the rich will swan around in their expensive cars, no problem to pay the fees. Another one here from Gold Geologist. These toll zones are inconvenient, especially for visitors that don't know of their existence or the rules. As an American, they do not exist. Seems just to be a money grab. As for cleaning versus training, I think a blended option should exist. Otherwise, go clean if a person does not want to improve the skills for a better opportunity. There we go. So the first part here, inconvenient for foreign visitors that come to a city and maybe are driving. I know that the ZBEs or these LEZs here in Spain can cause some confusion for foreign motorists, especially if you come to a city like Madrid or Barcelona, where I know that they're definitely in place. And other cities around the country also have restrictions when it comes to driving, and it can be confusing, as pointed out there. And also in Australia, or at least where I come from in Perth, there's no such restrictions. There's no environmental stickers. You don't have to have an MOT for your car. So when you come to a European country and you're faced with all of these rules and regulations when it comes to driving, it can be confusing. And I imagine that's what's being pointed out there. And as for the second point, blended option. Yeah, why not? Get people cleaning the streets and also put them into some type of training course so that they get skills and they can get a job. Good idea. Another one here from RG. Stuart, I don't think legalising hashish will work. It will push the drug trade to bring in worse drugs, and this will amp up the drug problem. Hashish is pretty tame compared to other drugs. Things could be worse. Maybe clean up the corruption of the police like Singapore would do. Cheers, Rob. Thanks, Rob, for that. Yeah, I've said it on numerous occasions. I don't think Spain will ever go down the path of Singapore. Singapore, as we know, has quite a strict set of rules and regulations and laws that people have to abide to. And people seem to go about their day-to-day in Singapore abiding to these rules. They've got quite strict censorship rules as well, quite strict rules against things like graffiti, smoking in public places, chewing gum, I believe was one strict rule that they had in place. Not sure if it still is. But I remember you used to get fined if you chewed chewing gum in Singapore. Graffiti, you might get the cane. And of course, don't mention getting caught for something more serious, because you know what will happen to you in Singapore. But yeah, here in Spain, I don't think we'll go down that route there. But there are people talking about legalising hashish in order to clean up the south of the country, which is overrun by drug traffickers and drug trafficking at the moment. And of course, some police have been corrupted as a result, which you can imagine. If you've got young kids making €3,000 a month and you've got a police officer making two, well, you know that there could be a chance for a person to become corrupted. So we'll see what happens, but no talk of legalising hashish just yet. Another one here from Dominic. Buenos dias, amigos. Regarding higher rental prices, is this happening in all areas, in big cities and small cities on the outskirts? My wife and I are interested in renting houses in Ontinyent or Barks or another place until we find an area we'd like to buy. We're a little concerned rental prices will skyrocket. Thanks, Dominic. Dominic, also a valued member of the channel. We saw the other day, Dominic, that in Madrid and Barcelona is where the biggest problems are when it comes to rental markets. I think we saw something like 67% or 70% in those cities disappearing off the market. People are not interested in renting because of this new housing law, or over the last few years, whenever it came in. It's affected the rental market. And I think nationwide it's 57%. So that's increasing prices. We recently had a house in the street that I live here go on the market, and it went for rental price was €1,650 a month. And there's another one currently available for around the same price. And I remember, can't remember how long ago, but I remember prices of around 1,000. So yes, there is an increase in prices, and I imagine as more places are taken off the market, it's going to go up even more. Or at least that's what we saw in the article yesterday. So, could be an issue if you are looking to rent, Dominic. Another one here from what's this? Caracas. If anything, Spain and Portugal needs to step out of NATO and take a neutral stance. Let America and its little puppy, the UK, go to wars. Russia or China would never make it to Spain or have interest, says here Carcahan. I remember back in the day when Spain first joined NATO, it wasn't a popular decision. In fact, I remember reading about, because I wasn't here back then, I'm sure people watching the video this evening were in Spain back in 86, was it, I think, or maybe earlier, when Spain did join NATO, and there were protests all around the country. No to NATO, we don't want to be part of NATO, but Spain did join NATO, and it's been there ever since. And of course, Mr. Trump's recent comments where he said that if you don't pay your dues, if Russia decides to invade you, we won't stop them. And those were, as I said yesterday, comments that weren't taken too well in some European countries, for example, Spain. So should Spain and Portugal get out of NATO? Don't know. Will they ever be invaded by the country that you mentioned there? Don't know. But will Spain possibly be invaded by other countries? Don't know. But I think Spain feels comfortable in NATO, even though they only pay 1% of their GDP to defence, I think, or 1.1 something. It needs to be around 2, which is promised by 2030. So what's the date today? 2024. 6 years to get up to that 2%, according to Prime Minister Sanchez. Another one here from Lucio. Spain is not a free nation. Stay away from it. Thanks, Lucio, for that advice. But as we saw before, Spain is a full democracy in the top 24, my friend. So I don't know what you're going on about here. Spain is not a free nation? Stay away? Why? Please explain why that is the case. One of the freest democracies in the world, as we saw before. Where was it? Full democracy in the top 24. Thank you very much. So, rubbish. And the last one here from Maist. Thanks for keeping us updated about events and developments in Spain. You're welcome, Maist. Thank you very much for your kind words there. And to other people that also share their kind remarks in the comment section. More often than not do I get positive remarks. Every now and again you get some negative remarks, but, you know, as Taylor Swift says, you just shake them off and you move on. Don't let the haters get you down, as they say. So thanks for the positive words there, Mace. Now I'm going to go into the chat section, but before I do that, I'm going to change the backdrop photo. This one was sent in from Laura, and it's a place in Valencia called Chelilla, I think. Looks like a mountain village there, and probably a typical village that you'll see in that part of Spain, down there in the Valencian community, I believe. So thanks, Laura, for sending that one through. And I'll just put it on the backdrop here quickly. There we go. And if you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your photos or news articles or anything that you want to send me. That's the email address. And I get lots of messages every day from people telling me stuff about Spain, what's going on around the world, and also what's happening in their countries as well. So thanks for the emails, guys. And as I said, photos like this one here in the background, coastal shots, whatever. If you've got a picture of Spain, send it through. Now, the like icon also going on the screen. Currently at 53 likes, so if you hit the like button, please, we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. Also to people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, super thanks option on YouTube, super chat as well, longer term supporters on Patreon, thank you very much. Or in recent times with this new membership, thank you very much people that have become members. I think we're up to 27 members now, and the most recent member to join the channel was Thor, who joined the channel the other day. So welcome to the membership group. Thank you very much. And to anyone else that's interested, $1.99 a month will get you membership. And remember, there is some exclusive content coming up soon which will be available for members only. So feel free to join. Now, I'll go into the chat section here now. I'll just go to the top, scroll up to the top and see what's going on. First one that I can see is from Jonathan, who's back in Uruguay, down there in the south of America, back in Uruguay, saying hello to everyone. Hello, John. Pamela's also in the chat, coming in from San Juan de los Terreros. James and Kathy, regular viewers, also in the chat. Milder but rainy, rainy later. Worcester, where there was 16 degrees today. Positively balmy and, what's that? Balmy and balmy for mid-February. Thanks, guys. Valued member Alan in the chat as well, coming in from San Diego, California. Alan will be back to Spain as soon as he can, I imagine. Back down there to El Puerto, and will knock the lid off a few Cruz Campos, no doubt. Alan, right? John's also in the chat, valued member as well. Mild spring-like southeast London, all the best. Thanks, John. Paul Gerard, another valued member, coming in from Germany. Saludos a todos. Richard, valued member too. Been raining in North Yorks most of the week, yet again, although it has been unusually mild, 15 degrees. Yeah, quite mild to here today as well, Richard. I think around 16, 17 degrees here, quite mild. Tomorrow's going to be a fine day. Today a bit wet. Marianne coming in from San Diego, California, this day after Valentine's Day. I think today they call it Singles Day or something now. There's a day for everything nowadays, right? Valentine's Day yesterday, Singles Day today. No one can be left out. Mary, hi Stuart, do you have any information on tomorrow, Friday, track disruptions on the highways? Particularly interested on the 340A. Don't know where the 340A is, Mary, but if you're interested in finding out if a road in your area will be affected by the tractor protests, as they're calling them here in Spain, you can go to basically any newspaper, and if you just put in a Google search in Spanish, carreteras cortadas por la huelga, you'll get a list of different newspapers that will tell you exactly which roads are being cut off on any given day. So carreteras cortadas, huelga, put that into Google, put in España, and you should get an answer to find out whether that road in particular, Mary, is being cut off tomorrow or not. I don't know. I haven't seen any roads where I live cut off, but I imagine that in some of the rural parts of the country, if that's where you are, Mary, you might be affected. Andalusia, I think, is having a few disruptions, but from where we are here in Madrid, haven't seen a thing. I've seen some police on the road waiting, but no tractors coming up the highway, which is good for us. Janet coming in from Oxford, where it's been mild 16, so mild in the UK today. Good to see. Regular valued member also is Janet, as is 123 Shawnaway, County Waterford, Ireland. Laura, the owner of the photo behind us today from Chulilla. Is it Chulilla or Chililla? I'm not sure. Chulilla or Chililla? Thanks, Laura, for the photo. Great photo too. Sunny coming in from Basingstoke. We'll catch up what Sunny's missed at the end. Thanks, Sunny, for that. Good thing about these live streams is they always go up straight afterwards. You can catch them anytime you want, and they're there for eternity, or until I take them down. Robert coming in from Vancouver. Hope we're doing well. Cool there, and 6 degrees only Celsius. Bit chilly. Some of your viewers are also climate deniers, I've noticed in the comment section. They, not surprisingly, tend to vote for the far right. Yeah, we get a lot of climate deniers on the channel. People that are brought here because of other videos, suggestions and things like that. And they all chip their 20 cents in. We've got a bit of a mix of people that are obviously worried about the situation, and people just thinking that it's all just part of the weather cycles. To be honest, I'm not a scientist. I can only believe what they tell me. That also gets me into trouble from time to time, having opinions on this type of thing. And other things as well that we talk about. I've been told to stay out of things that I don't know anything about. I've been told this, I've been told that. Every time I film a video outside, I get people saying that they're spraying the skies or some rubbish like that. People don't seem to understand that they're called contrails, CON trails, condensation trails. Talk to any engineer, any pilot, they'll tell you exactly what they are. But every time I film a video outside or you see a shot like this where there's some type of movement in the sky, people say, look at the skies behind you, look at what's going on, it's unbelievable. They're poisoning us. It's rubbish, right? Jeez. What else we got going on here? Steve coming in. Desalination produces a lot of brine as a waste product. This is usually disposed of into the ocean and is harmful to marine ecosystems. That is one of the downsides, Steve. Absolutely. But some people would argue that water for the population is also important. Again, it's another debate, right? Rory coming in from Palma, Mallorca. Hope you're well. I hope we are all well, chicos. Dominique coming in from Belgium. Good to see you, Dominique. The home of Carles Puigdemont, of course. Your fellow Belgian resident up there. Renan coming in from LA. Hello to everyone on the channel. Hello, Renan. 1, 2, 3. Sean away here with another comment. Lidl is now offering a EU blend of olive oils. No Spanish EV on offer. Wonder if Spanish supermarkets will resort to the same. The answer to that is no. 1, 2, 3. I don't think they will resort to the same because here there's a lot of, there's reduced production obviously, which is increasing the prices. But you would never get an official blend of olive oil here. It will always have a Spanish label on it, even if it was oil coming from Italy or oil coming from Portugal. You would get a Spanish brand on it. The market's too strong. Whereas in places like Ireland, Lidl can do it. But here you would never see anybody buying Italian olive oil, for example, unless you went to a specialist Italian shop. Or Portuguese olive oil. It's like when you go to Portugal, you only see Portuguese olive oil on the shelves. Maybe if you go to a Mercadona in Portugal, you'll get Spanish olive oil, but the supermarkets that I go to in Portugal, only Portuguese olive oil. Gallo, Gallo, one of the most popular brands there. Belinda's in the chat as well. Cardiff, anyone have first-hand experience with day-to-day life and drug problem impacting them generally? Thinking of investing there and interested in your experiences. Always been an issue. Alan will be able to help you out there, Belinda. Alan is a Cardiff resident throughout the year, so I'm sure he'll be able to give you some first-hand knowledge on Cardiff. I've been there a few times. I've been to Barbate where the incident took place the other day, and you do see the effects of the drug trafficking. You see a lot of people with a lot of money, very young people with a lot of money that don't work, but they've got money. So put 2 and 2 together, and that's what you come up with. And I've also spoken to police officers in that part of Spain, and it is an issue for them, of course, but I don't know if it affects the day-to-day in all of Cádiz or just certain spots. Don't know, but I'm sure we'll get an answer. JZ coming in from Maryland. I'm struggling here. I've got allergies today, so my voice might seem a little bit nasally, but bear with me. Pay for your dues. That's Rich coming from someone knowing not to pay his bills. Talking about Mr. Trump not paying his bills. Thanks, Joe. Philip coming in from London. 17 degrees there today. Celsius, of course. Rosa coming in from Hertfordshire, or whatever, however you pronounce that. 17 degrees Celsius too. Steve, have I heard anything about Spanish property owners in Spain being able, I think that is, to stay longer than 3 months at a time? No, Steve, nothing about that yet, even though a lot of people would like that rule to change. I don't think it will anytime soon. So, I think France, the French justice system has ruled on that. So check that out, and that might most likely will have an impact on what happens here in Spain too. Because remember, if you come from a third country, everyone's in the same boat, Steve. So even if you own a property or not, I don't think there's any exceptions. So you would have to change the rule for anybody who's got a property in Spain. You know, maybe people from Russia have got properties in Spain. Maybe people from Canada have properties in Spain. Maybe people from the north of Africa have properties in Spain, but they can only stay 3 months. Alan's saying here that the Economist is a joke. You should look at the categories they measure. One of them is political culture. How the hell could you measure guff like that, says Alan. So not impressed by the Economist's democracy list. Welsh chats in the Welsh Toro, in the chat. Good to see you. Giovanna coming in from Extremadura, heading from there to heading towards Extremadura from London. Thanks for the update. Thanks, Giovanna. Going back down there to Badajoz, I think it is, in Extremadura, where Giovanna resides. Mary, the 340 is Barcelona to Valencia. Mary's in the middle, in Peñíscola. Yeah. Like I said, Mary, just check it out in the press. Put in the old Google search, and you should be able to get at least 5 or 6 newspapers that will give you up-to-date information tomorrow morning. Muriton, I believe that there's definitely a climate. Call me crazy if you like. Thanks for that. Far right, how about just right? You have to divide the ideologies between milder ideas and more radical ideas, I think, and that's where the idea far right and far left come into it. Chulia is the way it's pronounced here, says Laura. Thanks for that. I wasn't sure of the spelling, because I think in the email that you sent me, and I'll just check it. I'm not sure. Let me just check here. Oh yeah, Chulia. Excuse me, my voice. Chulia, is it? Chulia. Yeah, there we go. Chulia in Valencia. So thanks for that. I must have written it down wrong. Shangan coming in here from back in Victoria on the sister's farm there. In where's that? Bummerwin, is it? Bummerwin, I think. Extension, Victoria. Haven't heard of that place. Of course, don't know Victoria all that well, apart from Melbourne and the other big places there. James saying that the Torrevieja desalination plant is next door to one of the largest salt-producing areas in Spain. There we go. And Jimbo, sports correspondent back in Madrid. Obviously going to take in a few games, no doubt, in Madrid, will Jimbo. Now that's it, 32 minutes. The live stream has come to an end. No more chat content. It's been a pleasure as always. I'll be back on Sunday with another live stream. I'll be back tomorrow, possibly, depending on how my allergies go and also the weather. I'll try to get a video out tomorrow, maybe something on Saturday, but another live stream on Sunday. Hope to see you then. Have a fantastic end of the week, a fantastic start to the weekend. Hasta luego, hasta entonces. Adiós. Bye-bye.